Hi, lovelies, welcome back. This week I want to talk a bit about rest. And the reason is I've seen lately how undervalued rest is in our culture. And I think the principles have something kind of interesting to say about rest. And so, yeah, that's what I'm going to talk a bit about today. So, one of the things that before coming across this understanding, I viewed rest, and I'm defining rest as like kind of downtime. It doesn't actually have to be like napping or sleeping, but rest is in just having some time and space in your day to just be. To me, that's resting. Whether I'm on the couch reading, that can be a restful activity. Lying in my backyard in the sunshine, that can be a restful activity. However you define rest, we all know what it looks like and feels like for us when it's like, the time of the day that I can just rest and breathe. And before coming across this understanding, I was of this opinion that rest is something that is a very unproductive and lazy use of my time. Like, why would I rest when I have stuff I could study for, and books I can read, and people I can talk to, and things I have to do, and things to get and buy and clean. And it just seemed like I have a never-ending to-do list of stuff I have to do in my life. Why would I rest? Like, that's going to put me behind, not ahead. And what I wasn't seeing at the time was not only is rest completely like crucial and kind of non-negotiable in the sense that we're designed for rest, and the body will let us know if we haven't gotten it, and it will very quickly put us in place if we're neglecting our needs for rest. And in that sense, I do mean the broader kind of, sleep, rest, downtime, just the time the body gets to kind of recover and recuperate and make everything function as it's intended to function. But I started to see, it's non-negotiable. So if I think that, and this is kind of the attitude I had in university of like, oh yeah, well, I'll just stay up really late and I'll just wake up really early, and it doesn't matter if I'm tired the next day because at least I've crammed more info in my head, not realizing that the way for me to be at my optimal state in that test, the way that I'm going to have my memory recollection, the way I'm going to have my creative writing skills, the way I'm going to have just the ability to really prioritize, time manage, all the stuff you have to do when you're sitting down for a final exam. Like, I'm at my best when I'm rested because my mind is clear, it's calm, it has the resources it needs, it knows how to do stuff, it knows how to bring information together and condense and put information out, and all the things that I need to do well on that test. So once I started to see like it's actually necessary, but what the principles have actually showed me is it's not just necessary, it's actually how we get better performance. Like I said with the test example, I thought, well, my time is better used cramming more information in than giving the mind restful time and space to kind of just do its thing and be. But on the days, or unfortunately, if I'm totally honest with myself and with you guys, the weeks that I'm not getting adequate rest, that's when all the stuff that I have to do or want to do or is on the to-do list becomes so much more difficult and so much more less effective, because we're just simply not at our best when we haven't rested. Like, we don't operate in that clear, calm, open bandwidth, high level of consciousness mind often when our mind has been on go, 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 go for days or, like I said, sometimes a week on end. So I'm actually seeing now that if I have a lot on my to-do list, like the day I happen to be recording this, I have a lot on my to-do list. I woke up, I took a look at my to-do list, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know there's enough hours in the day to get this all done. But what I do know absolutely, and what's kind of inspired me to make this video, is I do know that if I don't factor in rest, if I think that the best way to get through that list is to get everything done as quickly and as fastly and as kind of toughly, if you get what I'm saying, like if I just have to kind of crunch through it, that's not going to bode too well for me. It's going to bode kind of okay for the first like 3, maybe 4 hours. And then at some point that go, 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 go is going to really start to work against me. in two ways. One is, if that's my attitude towards my to-do list, I'm not going to be making the time to have tea, have lunch, do all of the other things that I, biologically need. And then the second big thing is, if I'm revving my mind like that all day, if I'm in a I have to think faster, I have to do faster, I have to move faster, this has to be done, 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 this has to be done. Like, there's no way that a few hours into it I'm going to be at peak performance. If anything, I'm going to be in a very restricted mind, in a very tense mind, and a very, just really, so what I'm looking for, a really limited mind, because I'm using it in a way that is not how it's designed to be used. And what rest does, and why at the beginning I defined rest as literally whatever restful activity is for you, is it gives our mind that time to be open and free. It gives it time to expand. It gives it time to rest and graze and chill and just do whatever it wants to do, such that we can now get to a point where if I, and luckily I'm smart enough now to look at this to-do list and say, I'm actually not going to crunch through it as quickly as possible. I'm going to do a chunk of things, rest, do a chunk of things, rest, do a chunk of things, rest, do a chunk of things, go to sleep. I know that by doing it that way, I'm going to do better at everything on my list, feel better at the end of the day because I haven't literally burnt myself out and neglected my basic needs for, water and food and, everything else. But ultimately, I'm going to have an easier experience of what I'm doing because I'm going to have more bandwidth available to do it. So whether it's the thing I have to write today, or the video I have to create today, or the person I need to talk to today, or the errand I need to run today, I'm going to have an easier time doing it when I have more of my mind available. And the easiest way to get more of my mind available is to stop filling it up with rush and urgency and I have to do this and there's no time to rest and there's no time to, rest time is wasteful time. Well, that's not true, because rest time is how my mind lives in its natural state of being without having to have an aim or have a process or analyze anything or do anything. And when it's like that, I'm full of creativity, I'm full of just natural wisdom, I'm full of high performance, because in that state, the mind is incredibly good at what it does. And we unintentionally limit that state by, like I said, not realizing that the mind is actually more productive when it's restful, when it's balanced, when it's open. And instead, we look at a really heavy to-do list and we say, great, I just got to crunch, I just got to get this done, I just got to pedal to the metal. And we don't see that that way of running the mind and that way of filling up our head with a ton of thinking is actually working against us, not for us. So as I was looking at my list, and obviously making this video as part of my list today, and I thought, I really do want to talk about rest because I'm really grateful that the principles have taught me how my mind works in a way that enables me to look at a objectively busy day like today. Objectively meaning there's a lot on the to-do list, but know that I have to factor in rest. I have to factor in the mind doing nothing. I have to factor in just literally not needing to do anything but let the mind wander, for it to be in its natural state, for it to help me do what I want to do in the other, 15 hours of the day. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. Hopefully you see too that in your life, and if you don't see it, maybe it's something to look for. Maybe get curious about, why is it that some days I have so much on my to-do list and I'm feeling completely burnt out, completely overwhelmed, completely stressed, completely like everything is so hard and it's taking double or triple the amount of time to do and I'm not really getting anywhere, and then I'm getting more stressed by not getting anywhere, and it's kind of a vicious cycle. And how other days we have objectively a lot on the to-do list, but there's just a sense of calm. There's a sense of allowing rest. And sometimes it's deliberate, like today when I had to be like, okay, and then I'm going to rest from this time and this time and this time. But sometimes it's just us knowing, getting a sense of like, this is better done from a clear and calm mind. This is better done not with the approach of let me crunch and get it all done and power through it, but let me just do this in the kind of easiest, most open, most kind of free-minded way possible. And when we do that, when we approach it with a kind of lightness and restfulness instead of a urgency and intensity, we notice that we now have way more performance, way more bandwidth, and way more capability to do what actually needs to be done. And in the end, we get through the day and feel like, wow, I did a lot and I feel relatively peaceful about it, relatively kind of productive about it, instead of, wow, I did a lot and now I'm so exhausted I need to sleep for 2 days. So you can look in your own life and see, where is it that some days my to-do list seems kind of easy and manageable and I experience productivity and kind of flow, and other days I'm just completely overwhelmed and completely quenched and completely limited. And the difference is, are we letting the mind be in its natural state? Because its natural state is best. It's the kind of beauty of this, is that it's not really a thing that we actively cultivate. It's just letting our mind do what our mind does best, which is be and rest and exist. Or are we kind of always overriding that in an effort to get somewhere quicker, or get ahead, or achieve, or kind of listen to the urgency of our mind? And so something to play with and see for yourself. Thank you guys for being here. As always, leave your questions or comments below. Subscribe if you want to, and if you haven't already. I put out new videos every Friday. And if you have any requests for things, topics, or questions you would like me to address, please leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to make a video on it as soon as possible. And yeah, I will be back with you next week. Take care. Have a lovely time resting. Be well. Bye.